No, he actually has that really loved his wife, so now he's like post-death depression.
Really loved his wife. And Hugh Hefner really loved his wives.
He only thinks about her.
Donald Trump really loves his wife.
You don't know that comparing Kratos to Hugh Hefner or Donald Trump is appropriate.
Just saying.
I don't feel like that's...
Really loved
I mean, I don't know though.
This is 65, right? Cool.
69.
This is Twin
Not
Stick.
yet.
This is Twin
4
Stick.
more until 69.
Can't wait.
This is Twin
But
Stick.
when it's number 69, we'll make a big deal about it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Or we'll just brush over it.
Right.
This is
Because
Twin
I
Stick
think the
Radio.
last time we did 69, we called it the sex episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Classy.
It was about sex.
Yeah, it was all about
video
sex
games.
and video games.
That was our topic that week.
Oh,
We talked about The Witcher and boobs.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is Twin Stick Radio, episode 65 for the week of April 18th, 2019. I am one of your hosts, Trey Higgins, and I'm joined by Chris Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Justin T. Lopez.
What's up?
Have we seen what, Justin?
Donald Trump posted some sort of like play on Game of Thrones picture today. Did y'all see that?
Is that his way of like not talking about the Mueller report?
He put it's a picture of him. It's the back of him, and it's all like snowy and cloudy, like very photoshopped, and it's like no collusion, no obstruction. For the haters and the radical left Democrats, and then in Game of Thrones font it says "Game Over," and that was from Donald Trump, like real Donald Trump. So there's that.
You know the thing about Donald Trump that I find hilarious, aside from all the bad things about him that are kind of funny and scary at the same time?
I would think he was hilarious if he wasn't our president.
I think Donald Trump believes that he is just so into it, that he is just like the hippest old person in the world. And he's one of the many delusions he has is about his ability to meme things.
True.
I'd call it a fairly good meme.
I mean, it's not like a bad meme.
No, I think it's a good meme.
Right.
Just
not from
not from the
leader
president,
of
not from
the
our
United States.
Yeah, not from the fucking president of the free world. It's like, what are you doing, man? You got a lot. You got a lot more. Yeah, you got. Well, he didn't spend any time.
True.
He just had some,
He was like a
16-year-old dude, make it, or a 16-year-old
intern.
chick or dude make it.
Yeah. So that's our president.
Oh, 100%.
How was everybody's week?
It's good, I guess.
It was long.
Yeah.
We're off tomorrow because it's Jesus Day.
Oh, look at that.
Or it's Jesus Died Day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Friday.
Yeah, so there's that.
It's fun. How's your week, Trey?
I learned how to work a print shop printer, so that's pretty cool. I can just print things, and it's awesome. It's been busy. I've been working a lot at the shop, so fun though. I beat a game, and I actually played games and was having a really good time. And I happened to choose the most thoughtless game in the world, so I can still think and play the game. So it's pretty fun. What about you, Justin?
My week was good. I almost lost my penis. That happened.
What?
So,
dude, I told you the death grip is not worth it.
It's not
Just
the
do
death
it. You've
grip.
committed, Everett.
So here's the thing. I
just loosen up the right hand a little bit, and you won't lose it.
Jesus.
Won't restrict blood flow.
It makes so much
restrict blood
sense.
flow.
I like how you asked me how my week was, knowing that you're sitting on like this story gold.
See, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to tell it.
Just sit
Well,
on your.
now you're committed.
just-
Just
I
like
am
Everett.
committed to it.
Grab a
You're
tennis
committed
ball.
to moving the chair.
Grab a tennis ball, then sit on your hand in the tennis ball, and then you lose all feeling in your hand. There's no way you can death grip
Oh, okay.
because
Good
you just
tips.
won't. Yeah.
Well, that is not how I almost lost my dick. So, I don't know how you guys go to sleep, but I sleep with basketball shorts on. Mm-hmm. So I was sleeping with
boxerless and or boxer brief or
boxerless.
briefless. Okay.
This was-
So just basketball shorts.
just basketball shorts.
Hanging free with just basketball shorts.
Just hanging
Got
free.
it.
And so I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like a pain down there. And I'm like, that's weird. So then I try to adjust my shorts and that makes it hurt even more. And that's when I realized that there is a thread on the inside of my basketball shorts wrapped around my penis. And it was cutting off circulation. And every time I would move my shorts, it was like digging into it even more.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know, man. But it hurt bad. And
How
that's
the
I
hell
almost
does that
lost my
even
penis.
happen?
I don't know.
You
It's
need
like
some
whenever
new
babies
basketball
almost lose
shorts.
fingers, that happens. What's that?
I said you need new basketball shorts.
I think I do.
Or you need to like get more feeling down there so you can feel when you don't feel it.
I think I could feel it. I think that's why I woke up.
Oh, maybe.
I think you're in a natural state of not feeling it.
Yeah, I guess it's true. That's like, I can't feel my ears. When can you ever feel your ears? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you don't really feel them until something's wrong.
Right.
If I came by and flicked your ear, you would feel your ear.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't feel your dick unless it's about to fall off.
Or if you feel
Unless you're feeling your dick.
Unless you need to feel, yeah. Unless it's that time of the day. Or
I don't know. I feel like
week
the
or
dick
whatever.
is like generally a little bit more noticeable.
Yeah, I don't know. So there you go. That ever happened to y'all?
Nope.
Nope.
If you guys haven't listened to us before, we are a podcast about video games. We record weekly, and we're up during the weekend. And we're going to start the show off with the news.
I'm trying to think if there's ever a time that I was like, my dick is in danger of bad things.
I think that was about the only time for me. At least that I can remember.
I don't think so. I've always been super careful to double wrap in instances.
What?
I don't think that helps. I think that makes it worse.
No, I'm just talking about like for like diseases and shit.
I don't think,
Like-
I think double wrap, if I remember correctly, I think double wrapping increases like friction between the layers,
And it can
and
break.
it would tear.
Well, not if you like. There's enough.
Not if there's enough layers.
Yeah, not if there's enough moistness. No, you don't have to worry
That's
about
true.
shit.
I mean, I guess if you lube that shit up. And
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
There you go.
I don't think I've ever been like super in danger of things. I've always super like.
Just a steel cage.
Yeah.
My lawyer has advised me not to comment. So
Chastity belts and stuff. Yeah.
Jesus.
The true safety is abstinence.
Anyway, in
Sure
the
it
land
is.
of
the
video
true safety
games,
is just handing out condoms at high school.
GameStop has released a new program called Guaranteed to Love It that allows customers to return for store credit new copies of games 48 hours after purchasing them. This program seems to only include standard editions of new releases, and on its launch, it appears to only include Days Gone.
What if you don't love it?
I think that's the point, is
but
if
you're
you're not guaranteed to love it, you can return it.
I don't understand. I don't understand the tag guaranteed to love it. That's like telling me I'm guaranteed to love it.
They should have called it "If You Hate It." If you hate it program.
Sure, that's what that's more along the lines of what it is, right?
Right. It is a little misleading.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you're guaranteed
100%.
to love it, then you won't return it.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
Yeah.
point.
I think that's a. There's a lot of shit you can talk about GameStop. I think that's a pretty forward move. It's kind of lame because it's not big and it doesn't include a bunch of things yet. But I mean, we also live in a world where pretty much no store will take a video game return.
Sure, but it includes standard edition of games. That's the thing, right? If you're buying a $100 edition of a game, more than likely you're buying it because you know you're going to like it.
Yeah,
You're
return it.
guaranteed to love
Yeah,
it.
because you're guaranteed
That's
to
the
love
guarantee.
it. So like Division, it's like I bought a $130 version of Division, and no, even if I hated it, I wasn't going to try to return a $130 version of Division. You know?
I meant it more in terms of the fact that at launch, the only game that's part of this program is Days Gone.
Oh, I understand.
And it'll probably expand like once
Sure.
they figure it out. But I just think it's neat, and I think it's going to, for those people that buy physical games, I think it's going to encourage them to go to GameStop because you don't see Best Buy, Walmart, or Target picking up this.
Sure. What's the limitations of returns? So like I buy Days Gone, I finish it in a day and a half, I take it back, get store credit, and get another game.
Yeah, there's no
There's
way
48
they can know
hours.
that.
Yeah, there 100% is. They can track your last 10 purchases.
Sorry, no, I meant there's no way that they would know that you beat the game, like you marathoned it in like 24 hours or whatever.
The marathoning it doesn't make a bit of difference. My thing is,
Would they eventually stop you?
right. Because I mean, if there's no stop point, if I'm a customer, I'm going to go buy a game. If I'm a average GameStop customer, I'm going to go buy a game because people did this with used games all the time. You go buy it, you've got 30 days to return it with store credit. You go buy it, play it for 29 days, return it on 30, get your store credit back, get another game, maybe spend $20 more, and then do that over and over and over again. And there was no stop ever because there was no, the computer would flag after, I don't know, a certain amount of time, but there's no stop. So what's to keep people from buying Days Gone? Finishing it within 24 hours, and all of a sudden, you know, there's another game that comes out, God of War is on sale or whatever, and you spend that money and then return it. What's to stop that of happening? You know, and especially for November, Christmas time, it's like you buy a game 2 days later, you beat it. You just roll through all the Christmas games or fall games, and only have to spend $60 one time.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's a risk, and I think that's a risk that I think you just talked about it. But that's a risk that they had with their pre-owned program as well.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why they only made it 48 hours. Like it's not a lot of time to beat.
People hit max level in Division in 16 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
People can do
gamers.
it. Yeah, people can do it.
Yeah, I would say your average gamer though wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but
sure.
I think that's pretty fair for the average consumer. And I also think in 2019, like sure we have games like Days Gone coming out, and I think Kingdom Hearts kind of fits into the same mold as an experience that you can go through in 20 to 30 hours.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of games nowadays are open world, 100-hour experiences, and so the average person that doesn't know how to grind in 16 hours is going to be stuck with, or isn't going to get that far in their game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine. I think it's a good move by GameStop, to be honest. I think it's a nice put customer first type move.
I think it's a
that
good
GameStop's not known for.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think it's a good move for the industry too, because because video games are technology and they sort of fit in that same space as DVDs and CDs.
Sure.
You've been buying $60 to $100 games for how long and haven't been able to return them?
Yeah, it's also really nice too because it's not like even if you do take advantage of it, you're only taking advantage of the store, not the developers, right? Because the developers already have their money because GameStop paid them.
Yeah.
True. So you're only taking advantage of the store itself, which go for it. That company deserves to be taken advantage of, to be honest.
And I think it's actually really smart whenever you think about it. Since it's just for new releases, you're now incentivizing people to, instead of like waiting for this game to go on sale or like to be pre-owned to get it cheaper later, you're like, well, if I don't like it, I can just return it.
Sure, but
so then they're immediately spending that $60, $65, and then they might not return it.
Yeah, but you got to realize buying a $30 pre-owned game makes GameStop more money than buying a $60 new game.
That's why I didn't think about that, but that's why that's an interesting move for the industry, right? Because previously GameStop, I mean, back when we were there, they didn't want us to sell new games at all.
No, I would assume they still don't.
Yeah.
Because like I said, a $30 used game gets GameStop more money than you buying a $60 new game.
Right. That makes sense, yeah.
But we also had customers that would only come in and buy new games if there was a pre-owned copy.
Sure, I mean, I'm one of those.
Yeah,
I'm one of those guys.
I do that sometimes too. I did it with Resident Evil because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. So that is good for developers too.
Sure.
I mean, unintentionally. I don't think.
Sure, I guess to an extent.
But at least they're getting more new games off the shelves. So.
Well, of Days Gone.
Yeah.
That's also a really good game to try this with.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, there's going to be a ton of people who buy it and be like, "This is not what I thought it was going to be," or "This is boring," or "Sam Witwer was a tool, and I just don't want to play this anymore." You know what I mean? Even though Sam Witwer was not a tool. Sam Witwer's amazing.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, he's Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
He's the brother.
He's the brother.
And the Children of the Force storyline.
Oh yeah, he's also the brother. He's Galen
Starkiller
Starkiller in Force Unleashed.
It was awesome. Speaking of Star Wars, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy has said that there is something related to Knights of the Old Republic currently in development or in talks of being put into development. MTV News asked Kennedy about the Old Republic, and she replied, quote, we talk about that all the time. Yes, we are developing something to look at. Right now, I have no idea where things might fall, but we have to be careful that there is a cadence to Star Wars that it doesn't start to feel like too much. End quote. Which also ties in. This probably is more aligned with like movie, television, or whatever news.
Sure.
But it also aligns with the announcement I think after we recorded, that they're gonna stop making Star Wars movies for a little while after Episode 9. But
Clone Wars that doesn't mean it's going to stop though, because Clone Wars is getting a new season. Mandalorian starts in the fall.
Yeah, no, specifically Star Wars movies.
Sure, I know, but to her thing, we want to make sure we don't overload Star Wars. I'm assuming she's not just talking about movies.
No, I would guess not.
Yeah, but and I guess a new season of Clone Wars, The Mandalorian. I guess it doesn't seem like an overload. I could take more.
They also have the Rogue One show.
Yeah, you're right, the Rogue One show.
Rogue One show?
Yeah, it's I forgot the guy's name, Cassian Andor.
Yeah,
it's his time as like a rebel spy.
Yeah,
okay. And what's his name? The guy that played K2SO is on the show as well.
Is that going to be a Disney Plus exclusive thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, we're getting the new Fallen thing, Jedi Fallen Order, and they just announced an Old Republic expansion.
That's one of the. I didn't put it on here. I totally forgot because, of course, nowhere is reporting that because no one cares.
Sure, of course.
But it's still
pretty awesome.
It's still so cool that 8 years after The Old Republic came out, and while it is still a successful game, it doesn't have wow numbers of subscribers. But Disney is still willing to support it
and stay in continuity of the actual game, not break so far off the beaten path that it's like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
So. Coming from an Old Republic fan, I'm excited for this expansion. Onslaught, I think is what it's called. It's good shit.
That is cool. That's cool that they're respecting that timeline, even though that was made before they owned it. And they're really.
Now saying this, I'm excited to see what they decide to maybe do with the Old Republic. I would personally like a video game.
I would like a video game as well.
I don't think I would, unless Ryan Johnson's doing a Revan trilogy. I honestly don't. I don't want to see anything other than a video game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
because Whitney brought that up. She's like, "Hey, isn't Ryan Johnson she goes, "Hey, isn't the director of The Last Jedi doing a trilogy?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "What if it's the Revan trilogy?" And I almost hit the brakes in the car. Just my mind exploded with the wonderfulness that fucking Ryan Johnson could do, telling Revan's story in a trilogy of movies. I know it'll never happen, but I would like a video game, to be completely honest.
I feel like
because I'm not really excited for Fallen Order, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next. I feel like KOTOR is a video game story, and to a certain degree, it would be in my mind, it'd be similar to turning the original trilogy into a TV show. Like, could it work? Sure, it could work. But I think part of respecting that story is respecting the medium that it came from.
Or are you saying leave it alone?
No. I'm saying that if you're
because I am.
I'm saying, well, I mean, maybe leave it alone, but I'm saying if you're going to go for the Revan story, if you're going to tell a Revan story, I think you should go agreeing with you.
Yeah,
I think you should go back to the medium that you told it in.
Sure. Okay. I understand. Like I'm also of the mindset. I think Justin and I had this conversation before. It's like they're making a new Last Airbender live action for Netflix. And it's just why.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan fucked it up, and the first one is perfect. The first 4 books of The Last Airbender are just phenomenal.
Why feel like you have to retell
there's
something
no
if it's
reason.
already
There's
great
no
in its
reason in the
existence?
world to retell that story because it's fucking perfect the way it was.
Yeah,
and this is kind of the same thing. KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2, and then following into the Old Republic. Revan's story's been told. I would change a few things, but Carpathian had full reigns of everything, so it's a story that Revan was supposed to have, and I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
More than the thing that I want more than anything else. Like, if you're like, what is your perfect KOTOR experiences? I want like a Resident Evil 2 remaster of KOTOR.
Sure, that would be great.
Take the old voice actors if you can find them. Bring them in and have them record their lines again.
Hell, I wouldn't even
replace them if you can't find them. Or
you may not even need to record the lines again. I mean, I don't know what the audio sounds like in the originals, but I guess it'd be okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like that was the thing about Resident Evil 2 remasters. It is a true remaster.
Sure,
and
but the voice acting is not good.
The voice acting is great.
No, it's not.
It's great in the remaster.
I don't think so.
It still has that level of Japanese corniness.
That's right. It's not good.
But but comparing it to the original, it's so much better.
Well, sure. Comparing voice acting to 1995.
So
sure.
in terms of games,
100%.
Recorded on a tape recorder.
Yeah.
In terms of dubbed games coming from Japan,
sure.
It's probably near the top in terms of quality.
Sure, I agree. But also, that's like Final Fantasy 15 coming from Japanese developed game is fucking phenomenal. Voice acting is great. I don't think there's cheesy lines, but they're not delivered cheesily like most. Like Resident Evil, I watched some videos and Leon Kennedy's talking. I was like, God, that just sounds weird.
On a scale of Kingdom Hearts to Final Fantasy 15, it's closer to Final Fantasy 15.
You're 100% right. Kingdom Hearts, the voice acting in Kingdom Hearts is not bad. It's just every line is a cheese.
Yeah.
Every single freaking line is a new cheese, and it's ridiculous.
But just the writing isn't fantastic. But
it's a little on the nose.
Jedi Knight Fallen Order was announced during Star Wars Celebration this weekend. It's coming out on November 15th. Features your typical post-Order 66 Jedi in hiding. Things go wrong, and now it looks like people are hunting him down. I didn't really write a whole thing out because that's pretty much all we know about it.
Yeah, it's still very minimal information. I would say.
I'm not. I'm just
not big on it.
No, I'm not. I don't know why.
Interesting. Because it's a story that's been told 1,000 times in 100 different mediums.
Kanan's story's better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be there day one and be playing.
Sure,
right?
Same here. Plus, I like the actor.
Yeah.
The actor who played Joker in Gotham is playing the main character.
I didn't know that.
That's a great. I love him as an actor. He's great.
But it's just like it. I've said this 1,000 times when we talk about Star Wars. I don't know why Lucasfilm seems to think the only interesting Star Wars story is the stuff that like, happens in the Empire era.
I don't get it, dude. Like, canon story's better. I've also read 2 books with Ki-Adi-Mundi, and he survives Order 66, so it's another Jedi who survived Order 66. We know Obi-Wan survived Order 66. I don't understand why we need to, like you said, revisit the same story. Yeah, and like it's cool that there's a couple scenes in there where it's like it shows a female like character wielding a double bladed red lightsaber. It's an
Inquisitor.
And it's like, hey, that looks just from the not face wise because she's wearing a mask, but it's like that's the Inquisitor. That's super rad. You know, that's crossing Clone Wars into something else, we all know Clone Wars is legitimate if you're a Star Wars fan. But Rebels, I'm sorry. We all know this. Clone Wars is also canon, but we all know Rebels, Clone Wars, and Resistance is all canon, but this is just tying it all together. That's all super fucking cool. But I don't need another Jedi trying to survive against the Empire. I don't.
I will say, to your point, I am really excited that they decided to go include the Inquisitors in here.
Sure.
It's one of the coolest things that came out of Rebels. It's something that's been expanded a little bit in the comics, and it's cool to see these characters in there. Again, I would trade all of that to have a story set right after Return. You know. Yeah,
either after Return or sometime before. What's Episode 7 called?
Force Awakens.
Sometimes right before Force Awakens or something like that, or when that's just rife with it, right? Because Luke rebuilds a Jedi Order. There's a point in time where Luke is rebuilding this order, and Ben is part of it. And there's a there's a
cool story.
There's a 5 to 10 year gap right there where you could tell really cool Jedi stories there.
It's also the Mandalorian is kind of a cool side of that because it takes place
pumped for that.
It takes place after Return, 5 years after, and it's sort of like this weird state of lawlessness where the Empire is kind of around in still some capacity, and the New Republic's trying to build itself back up, and that's a really interesting time to tell a story because you can do whatever you want there, and you don't have to throw away stormtroopers. Like if Kathleen Kennedy sits down in a meeting with all of the creative people that are going to be making Star Wars shit over the next 3 years, and she says whatever you make has to include stormtroopers, well, there you go. There's a time period that you can play around with, and you're not stepping on Force Awakens territory.
Yeah, I know this is not a movie or TV, but I am super pumped for Mandalorian. I saw that teaser and Jedi Fallen Order was here and Mandalorian's here.
No, it's that.
I just am so pumped for that.
What about for episode 9?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's number 1 in my book. Yeah, that's there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've already got theories in my head about I still don't think Rey's a Skywalker. I just don't think she's important. I don't think she's important, and that's not bad. Rey doesn't need to be important to be important. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She is the budding of a new generation of Jedi / Sith or whatever they're going to go with Rey and this whole dark side, light side thing. But she doesn't have to be a Skywalker for this movie to be amazing, which is, I think Anakin's going to make an appearance and put Kylo in his place and have this whole, maybe Anakin Emperor, because the Emperor's laugh is at the, I don't know. There's theories in my head. There's a lot of theories. And I love it. I'm so fucking pumped for Rise of Skywalker. I just cannot wait. But
I'm excited for it, yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order, it's not, unless I see gameplay and it's just oh my God, that looks, remember the first time we saw Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for that game. If they do that, then I'm in. But
at the very least, they've said, and this is just what they've said, is that it'll be single player and no microtransactions.
Sure, that's fine.
So, I mean, that's cool. I mean,
sure.
At least that's somewhat of a relief, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But to be completely honest, it's not doing what I don't think it's doing what a Star Wars fan wants. Star Wars fans want this universe to expand, and it's not. They're staying in their little bubble. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks like that, which is fine. I
think it's the issue with any sort of fandom of anything. I'm starting to realize is that you have the people that I have always loved the original trilogy. I've always loved the prequel trilogy. But if you want to talk about the things that made me fall in love with Star Wars, it was 100% the expanded universe.
Sure.
I would always have a deep love for those two trilogies in my heart, but it wouldn't be the same if there wasn't books, comics,
Right.
eventually 2 TV
Right.
shows. That was the stuff that got me into Star Wars. And then you have, the generation that was born in the 70s.
Sure.
That grew up seeing the movies in theaters and never read the books and all that, but considered themselves as much Star Wars fans as anyone
Sure.
else. And I think that I think to a certain degree there's more respect for those people.
Yeah, I think so. I guess so. It's just, I think because like I don't know. Thinking while you were talking, it's like I still love Force Unleashed because it was in a time period that nobody had ever talked about. So they expanded that universe. I mean, there was a little bit in the books about Vader and having his castle on
Mustafar.
No, it was a.
Oh, no,
B.
it was
It starts with a B.
I can't remember. It's
Anyway,
the place
yeah.
that it's from the friggin' Young Jedi Academy
Yes,
stories
it
where
is.
they
Yeah,
go and get Obi-Wan's lightsaber from there.
100%.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember the name of the planet. It's a volcano planet, but it starts with a B. That was in the books a bit, but like they expanded like, hey, Vader had a secret apprentice and did all that's like super fucking cool. But this game still, it's just like you're just retelling Kanan's story. You know what I mean? That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a guy who's trying to survive. He's a Jedi and he's just trying to survive, and that's literally Kanan's story.
Right. I guess
Unless
it should-
they do more to expand whatever it is, and we don't know anything about it. So that's why it's like my expectations are super low right now. Maybe it'll be great. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's a good place to keep your expectations,
Yeah,
at least
sure.
for right now.
Yeah, sure. But my expectations there aren't for Borderlands. I was expecting myself to be like, yes, Star Wars, grrr, you know what I mean? And I'm just not.
But there was also so much other Star Wars news, especially around like Mandalorian. and,
Sure,
like,
but this is Star Wars and my preferred medium of content
touche, yeah.
intake, and I'm more excited to pay $7 a month to watch a show about a Mandalorian. Which, by the way, who's playing the Mandalorian?
I can't remember.
It's I know him. He's like a really cool actor.
Real fast, Bass Castle on Vajun.
Vajun, thank you.
Go on with your thought. I'll look 'em up.
Basket. So the castle started with a B, the planet started with a V.
Yeah.
Got it. I don't know.
That's such like fucking obscure lore. Like
course
even
it
I had
is.
forgotten. I
Sure.
completely forgot about it.
Pedro Pascal.
Thank you. He's playing the Mandalorian, and he's great. That's another thing. It's like out of all, so like if you asked a Star Wars fan who's just seen the movies, like, hey, what's a Mandalorian? I'm like, oh, that's what Boba Fett is. Like, yes, good, you got it.
You're there.
But all Mandalorians to them look like Django. They all look the same. Now it's cool seeing like there's more Mandos, unless you've watched Clone Wars, of course, and you see fucking Mandalore as a white blonde chick who falls in love with Obi-Wan, which is weird. It is weird.
I mean, they're not. Yeah, I mean,
It's a little weird. That's all.
she is not the best representation of Mandalore. Although I will say,
Well,
is.
but also
I-
neither is Shay Viz in Old Republic becomes a Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, the
At
thing
one
about-
point in time too. She's red.
getting
white,
into
white,
obscure
redheaded person.
Mandalorian lore. In the EU, the Mandalorians are like tribes of
Sure.
warriors, and
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to have Mandalorian blood or have been born on Mandalore
Sure.
to become a Mandalorian.
Sure.
Whereas in the in Clone Wars, which totally destroyed the EU version of Mandalorians, it's
Yep.
like it's a society that was built on warriors,
Yeah.
but now they're in peaceful times and they have these big towers.
Sure,
like
yeah.
the original version of Mandalore didn't have towers and shit.
true.
Which is why I kind of like Rebels basically wrecked the Mandalorians from Clone Wars.
Sure.
And kind of brought them back to their roots a little bit.
Back to kind of like guerrilla warfare type.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. That's exactly it.
or Mandalorian.
Also, I'm just going to
warfare.
say, you always look at Chris and ask him questions. You never ask me questions. And it
Yeah, you
sucks.
piece of shit.
Chris is like more directly in front of me.
Doesn't matter. I'm your
Okay.
friend. You can ask me questions
your
about Star
friend.
Wars.
Okay.
Xbox. No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. say
No, that's
anything.
right.
Xbox head Phil Spencer announced during Tuesday's Inside Xbox that some of its new studios will have things to show at E3 2019. During the show, Spencer said, "quote Our new studios are going to have things to show, which is going to be awesome. New things that nobody has seen before." End quote. Spencer specifically mentioned that Obsidian's The Outer Worlds, which is a multi-platform release, could be at the show.
I mean,
Is that bad? Is that a fart?
No, I just whatever.
It's a fart for Outer Worlds.
It's 100%
And is it a fart for the whole thing?
100% a fart for the Outer Worlds.
right. I mean, I would imagine since Sony isn't going to be there, maybe that gives Xbox more stage time. I don't really know how that works.
No, I don't think so. I mean, because you're renting a theater for an amount of time,
Sure.
and just renting that theater is so fucking expensive. I doubt they're like, let's double that for Sony stuff. And also they usually go. I know they announced their date, but at this point, like E3 doesn't matter to me until like May 30th, and then suddenly it matters a lot. I think they usually go during the week anyways. I don't know that they have a whole lot of interest in going on like the Sunday, like Sony has been doing.
Oh no, you're right. Sony's on Sunday, Microsoft's on Monday.
Yeah,
normally.
Or sometimes they switch it up. It's weird. I think it's just like
no, you're right. And then Nintendo takes Tuesday.
Also, last year Sony didn't do their thing in the regular theater. They
did that moving thing.
They did the moving thing, and then it was like an outdoor stadium. So I would
which was kind of a dud. It was awesome, but it was kind of a dud at the E3 setting.
Oh no, 100%.
Which is why I think pulling out and doing their own shit is good. Is a great idea.
Well, I mean, it's
set up in the rainforest or wherever they want.
Yeah, do whatever they want to do.
Aside
cut down rainforest trees, I don't care.
Aside from the fact that like it was a little bit too artsy, right? Like I liked the beginning because it was cool when you watched the trailer. Like, oh, they're in the church. That's awesome.
Especially the dude playing guitar, or was he playing? What was he playing? Was it guitar?
It wasn't a guitar. It was like
was it a resonator?
I'm pretty sure the first guy was playing a guitar, and then they had the guy playing like that traditional Japanese instrument.
That's the one I'm thinking of, is the traditional Japanese instrument. No, that was in a studio. That was the year before.
No, that was on stage.
Oh wow!
Right after they showed off Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay. And it was only The Last of Us when they were moving from place to place because they were
because there was
they went to the tent,
break.
then to the church, and okay, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So Xbox this year. I mean, it seems very obvious that they announced their own press conference because we know we're going to see the next Xbox there.
100%.
I mean, we're going to see a lot of games, but with Sony, it makes more sense than anything to pull out because first they have their own thing, like you've talked about. PSX's happens usually every year. It didn't happen last year.
December.
But also, like,
I know.
We know what Sony's working on, and we know that a lot of that's probably not coming out soon. So you don't need to show us the same thing every
2020.
year.
Are you talking about the new PS5?
No, I'm talking about
you're talking
games.
about James. Okay, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima.
James. Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima.
Death Stranding. Which sounds like it's
going to be
coming out soon. Not this year, but it sounds like
PS5 launch.
It sounds like it's going to be.
It is
both. Like,
sure, but it'll be like in the launch window for PS5. Yes. Did you see?
Even though PS5 is probably going to be.
We're going to get to PS5, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But did you see fucking Rockstar's expecting to launch another version of GTA 5 for PS5?
No, I didn't see that. Really?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah, why the hell not? Guess who's going to buy it? This guy probably.
Actually, what did that make like the
I just want to put
sixth time. I don't
know. I want to put this out here.
3 different console generations if it actually happens.
I want to put this out here, like just. Because I know Mark Cerny's sitting here listening to this.
I'd also buy Red Dead if it happened again too. If that happened.
If I buy a game on PS4 and it's backwards compatible, when they launch the PS5 version, up-res it.
Sure.
Don't charge me again for that shit.
I 100% agree.
I already bought it. Don't charge me again.
1,000% agree with you. However, if I have to buy it again, I will buy it again.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
I bought that game like 10 times.
Red Dead for sure.
I would probably buy Red Dead again. But I've bought GTA 5 so many times, I can't do it again.
Sure,
it's not fair.
I don't know if I'd buy Red Dead again. I was talking to Chris. So since I wasn't on last week, I need
to log in because there's some new stuff to get.
But I got to finish the story.
Let's try to finish the news and we can talk about what you think.
Microsoft confirmed.
Oh no, I had to do the thing.
I know.
Microsoft confirmed the long-rumored discless Xbox One, dubbed the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Priced at $250 USD and available worldwide on May 7th, the Xbox One S All Digital Edition is now the cheapest console in the Xbox One family. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition will retain the form and all the technical specifications of the Xbox One S, including the 1 terabyte hard drive, but will also include digital download codes for Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon 3.
I saw Forbes write an article about this. Paul Talassi, I think his name is, the writer for Forbes. And he was like, "Who's this for?" And I'm like, "I'm thinking about getting it."
Why?
Because it's an Xbox and I can play Xbox games.
Okay, but what Xbox games
do
you want to play?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe like Gears of War or like Forza. or like
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, State of Decay.
I'm going to predict the future for you. You're
I'm
going
not
to
gonna
think
get
about
it.
buying it.
Yeah,
You're
no,
not
I'm not
going to
gonna
get
get
it
it.
because you're going to
No.
realize that
Yeah.
there is literally nothing you can play
Yeah,
on there that you want to play.
100%. I'm not going to get it.
Right, but some people might. Some
there's
people who have that thought might
Yeah,
not.
there's no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to get it. But
Yeah, no.
like Halo Universe could come out for Xbox S still or Xbox One.
It sounds like it's going to. Sounds
Sure,
like it's
so
going to dual release.
that would let me be able to get a Halo game under my belt again.
Yeah,
Talking about Halo
You know what?
Infinite?
I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever the new one's called. I don't care what it's
I
called.
was like, I don't know what Halo Universe is.
I don't care what it's called. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's one of those things like, oh, it's for me, the person who waited a really long time to buy an Xbox, because now I can get a $200 system and just buy digital games like Halo or Xbox exclusives. Like I'd play State of Decay again. You know what I mean?
It's tempting because it's a really good price.
Sure.
However, I just again, if you own a PlayStation 4, I don't know that. In my opinion, if you own a PlayStation 4, you're not really missing anything on Xbox.
Sure, unless
I can't think. No, and I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the public.
No, yeah.
I can't think of a single Xbox One release that like you have to own an Xbox for. Whereas if you're an Xbox player, it's like, well, you missed out on SpiderMan, God of War.
Sure, unless a PlayStation player.
What's up?
You said Xbox player, PlayStation player.
If you're an
And
Xbox player and you missed out
I
on
understand.
PlayStation,
Unless Xbox
here are 15 games that you need to own.
Unless Xbox
something
comes
for.
to E3 this year and their final push for Xbox titles, it's like, here's all these exclusives, and it's like, oh damn, you know what I mean?
Like if they had like Fable as a
Yeah, let's talk out of our ass and say like Fable gets launched in 2019.
Yeah.
But
I bet we'll see Fable at E3.
I'm sure we will, but I'm not going to let you game Jesus this, okay? Because
No,
Fable
it's not a Game Jesus.
Fable is not coming out in 2019.
No, it's probably coming out in 2020 or
It may
2021.
be a launch title for the next Xbox. But my point being is like, why wait? Like, who is this Xbox for? It's for the person who hasn't bought an Xbox. And if Microsoft comes to E3 this year and it's like, we've got this exclusive, this exclusive, this exclusive, and it's like, oh, those rival God of War and Spider-Man and all these other games. It's like, oh, maybe that Marvel Ultimate Alliance game goes to, after Switch, it's exclusive for Xbox or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something big and crazy. I don't know if it's going to happen, but just saying that's who maybe who this is for.
I think the main thing that I like about this, and
Also, people who don't want to pay for a PC. That's the other equation, right? Because all the things on Xbox you can just play on PC. But if I'm not, if you have a PC, there's no point in buying an Xbox.
Yeah, I do really like the price point of this, and like
$200
I
is
know
great.
it's not the newest technology, so maybe that's why it's cheap. But if this is a indicator of what like a discless or like a streaming console would roughly be priced around, that's kind of a good sign.
No, I mean, like, none of this is about the technology. It's just about the platform.
Well,
It's-
but I mean, it's not like it's an Xbox One X.
No, I think
discless,
that my point is that the technology part of it is really cool, and I think having a cheaper discless console that is more accessible to more people is a smart move. The problem is that like you have a system launching in a market. A, new consoles are coming out in a year. B, you don't really have a reason to sell an Xbox. Like, aside from the fact if your friends are playing on Xbox, that's a solid reason to buy an Xbox. But this probably isn't going to sell to anyone who already owns a PlayStation or anyone who already owns an Xbox, right? Like, I don't think there's a market for it. And honestly, like, there's an argument for, well, they could come out in E3 and have this, and this.
Sure, but that's all hypothetical.
It's hypothetical,
Yeah.
but it's also that, like, if they show me Halo Infinite, and Halo Infinite looks amazing, looks fantastic, looks like it's going to be exactly what I want from a Halo game, as a Halo fan, I'm not going to buy a discless Xbox One to play it. I'm just going to wait for the next Xbox.
Sure.
Right? Because it's already coming out. If I'm going to drop $250 here in the year that it takes me,
Sure, yeah,
takes
yeah.
for this game to come out and the new console to come out, I'll probably have enough
Sure,
money to
yeah,
be able
yeah.
to buy that too.
The market they're targeting is a minority, of course.
No,
But it is. It's 100% a minority.
I agree with you, but
you said no.
I meant no in the sense of like I agree with you, not the point I was driving.
Got
towards.
it.
I like the technology is great, and I think Sony should follow it. But I just think that like if you're on the fence about buying an Xbox One, you should fall off on the side that says don't buy an Xbox One. It's
Sure.
not worth it.
Sure.
So
Unless like you worked all summer and it's like I have $200. You can't wait for a PS5 because PS5 seems expensive.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what the Xbox 96 looks like. I don't know what the new Xbox is called.
Yeah.
Game Jesus.
Xbox 60, Xbox 69.
PS5 lead system architect has shown off some of the internal components of the next generation PlayStation, which he is not technically calling PlayStation 5. This will include a high-spec solid-state drive, a GPU capable of supporting ray tracing, will support PS4 backwards compatibility, and won't be download only. Cerny explained that the console CPU is a variant of the AMD Ryzen 3rd generation, and that its GPU is a custom version of Radeon's Navi line. That GPU is capable of ray tracing, a high-performance graphical technique with some incredible results. As you'd expect, the console will also support 8K displays. Cerny has also showed off the power of the console's new solid-state drive with a practical demo. According to Wired, fast traveling between locations in Insomniac SpiderMan on a PS4 Pro took 15 seconds. Using a next-gen PlayStation dev kit, the same action took 0.8 seconds. Cerny also covers the fact that the new AMD CPU will allow for a 3D audio with no extra hardware. Quote, with the next console, he explained, quote again, the dream is to show how dramatically different the audio experiences can be when we amplify significant amounts of hardware horsepower to it, end quote.
Whenever I saw this, I'm not like super tech savvy, so a lot of it was like, this sounds cool.
Until they made it practical with the load times.
And then whenever he made it practical with the load times, I was like, wow, that's really fast.
That's super fast.
I was because I mean, I played Spider-Man, so I know how long even it feels. Like 15 seconds sounds long, but it feels very long whenever you're playing a game.
You should play you should play Anthem.
Touche.
He's like, I did.
A lot of waiting. But yeah, having that shortened down to less than a second, it's pretty rad. That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Yeah. All the other stuff sounds cool.
That's also
powerful.
That's also on a game. I think people need to like think of this practically. That's also in a game that was developed for PS4, not PS5. So you're looking at games developing for PS5. I would say that load time is still going to be above a second. This is like saying, oh, look at this PS4 that can load a PS2 game in 0.5 seconds. It's like, yeah, sure, of course it can.
I agree. I think the best way to look at it is running a new game. And even then, this might not be the best metaphor, but running a new game on your PC at highest settings on everything with a solid state drive. Like, yeah, it's faster than if you're running it on a regular drive, but it's still going to be a couple seconds for current technology.
100%. Also, then again, take a 4-year-old or 2-year-old game and try to run that on that PC. It's going to seem night and day, like from the first time you played it.
Can you imagine play like Fallout 3 remastered?
Right, that's what I mean. Like, let's put Fallout 4 on a decked out PC right now. You know what I mean? Load times in Fallout 4 on like a just decked out PC on one of the newer solid state drives. Holy shit, I can't imagine how quick that would load. Or Witcher 3. Yeah. I bet it would load like that.
Well, I'm sure they probably just chose like a popular game that was on PlayStation.
Of course,
like a majority of players probably
sure.
Can relate to that.
It's also just marketing speak, right? Because I think most people would look at that and be like, "Holy crap!" But they don't like, "Oh, but they're loading a PS4 game on a PS5." Well, I think that just makes sense.
I think putting that game on a Pro though is a little bit of cutting themselves short, right?
Sure, they should have just done. They should have done a regular
PlayStation because I think most of us relate to that.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people own Pros
now,
and loading times can just be a fucking killer on the regular PlayStation.
Now, I have a question. I know what most of this says. Okay. I understand it. What the fuck is 3D audio? How do you 3 digitize audio?
3D. So it's something that they messed around a little bit with Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
Where you can have your headphones on.
Okay.
And you can hear where sound is coming from. Like, you know when you hear a noise that it's coming from your right.
Can't you do that already?
People walking upstairs. You can do that, but one of the problems is a lot of game developers don't think about that because that's a lot of effort to put in for something that a lot of gamers don't have.
Okay.
The second problem is that technically you need a surround sound speakers or you need to have because
I was going to say, we've been playing Fallout 76, don't at me, but I can hear when there's like a super mutant above me.
Yes.
But I'm also using A40 Astro headsets.
Yeah.
So
so I think that in the article, I read the Wired article. In the article, Mark Cerny talks a lot about how we, over the a lot of every generation of consoles, we see like a drastic improvement in graphics and like in-game technology. But he was talking about how one of the things that frustrates him is that over that time, we haven't really seen a drastic improvement in audio quality. And so that's one of the things that he was really hardcore about making the team invest in. So the idea is that even if you're listening through crappy speakers,
you're still be able to. I'd have to see that in practice to really. I understand what you're saying, but I'd have to see it in practice to actually
hear like a difference.
Yeah, because like I said, I played Fallout 76. Come on, guys, it's Fallout 76. But I can hear when shit's above me or below me, coming from my left, coming from my right, further away, closer to me. I can hear all that now. So impress me by doing that through my TV speakers. You know what I mean? Which I don't know if you can. But you might be able to.
That's the idea. That's
yeah,
what it
sure.
sounds like he's pitching. And I think if you're out there and you still don't understand what I'm talking about, go pick up a pre-owned copy of Resident Evil 2. Return it afterwards. But it's,
and then play it with surround sound on.
But it's freaky because, like, yeah, you're right. In a lot of games, if someone's walking above you.
Yeah.
But it's scary, not scary and not the Resident Evil way.
It's tense.
It's just freaky when you're like, you can be in the center of the police station at the beginning of the game and you can hear things going on to your right, and you sort of know, like, your brain can figure out exactly where that sound's coming from.
That's just good sound design.
That's
great sound design.
But that's technology. The idea is that
it's having that in all games. Yeah, and having that in all games as a standard. Sure, I think that sounds great.
Yeah, I don't know
it works better in games that are based in real life. Like, hey, I can't imagine starting Anthem and then having that technology. And you can hear something from the right, but it's so alien that it's like you can't tell. Like in Resident Evil, you're standing in a police station and you hear these certain sounds coming from the right, and you're like, oh, somewhere on the other side of a wall, I can hear an alarm going off, and it sounds like something's banging on that window. Your brain can get that. But like in a game like Anthem, it's like, oh, I can hear sounds to the right, and it sounds. I don't know what that noise is. Well, you know what I mean?
Talking about a game that really needs it, Borderlands, a pre-sequel, or just Borderlands in general, is a game where the sound design isn't great.
It's not good
and
at all.
So, like, you can hear. A lot of times you can hear that there's something around you,
but
you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? See, I can't find the thing.
Yeah, and Division would be another great game to have some. It's already there, but it's not to that extent. But man, that would be a great game to have this design. A block down, you can hear. You can, and Division sound design is amazing. I'm not trying to take away from it, but having like having
technology that supports it
more practically would be great.
Because I think that's the thing. Most games, I would venture to say, most games nowadays have some semblance of this.
And they do their.
It would be insane for it just to not have it at all.
And I'm sure they do their best to work with what they have. But if they're developing for a platform that already has this, like, you're free to do whatever, then there's more you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because to your point, I'm sure this is something that game designers are thinking about a lot, and obviously there are game developers out there that have put that time in. But the problem with putting a lot of time into 3D sound like that is that you're catering to a really small percentage of the audience. The majority of people playing games don't have a surround system, and a lot of those people don't use headsets. And if they are using headsets, they're probably using $30 headsets that don't offer a full range of sound.
Yeah, I would say most games that do it now do it almost like artificially. Like they'll figure out ways where it's like if they're a bit further away, you just make it quieter.
It's
and then you just play with like the stereo like left and right.
Yeah.
So if you're developing for a system that has it built in and can somehow make your TV speakers like represent that sound, then hey, man, that gives you more to do.
More work on sound design. That's kind of sucks. I would assume that's probably one of the hardest parts about video game development is sound design.
I would imagine.
I just, like here we can record a gun, but now we got to record a gun 25 yards away.
Yeah.
And then we got to record a gun 100 yards away. And then we got to record this gun 100 yards away with a brick wall between it and the microphone. It's like,
well, it's fun. Like I literally had that same thought whenever I was playing Red Dead, because I was just like, I was, riding on my horse. And then I was listening to how the horse, like hooves, like galloping, changes depending on like what, like, if you're on like sand or grass and stone and wood. And I was like, that's just crazy. It's crazy that like all of this stuff has to be mapped out over this entire map.
There's something about Red Dead, and they talk about the sound design for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well,
and the guns, it's amazing because they took those old wild, like, listen carefully. I never noticed it until I read about it or watched this video. But the ricochet is the old 1950s, 1940s Wild West. pew,
Yeah,
pew, pew. It's
Yeah.
like I never noticed it before.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just
I've heard
super
it a couple
fucking
times,
cool
and it's like,
because that's not what a bullet sounds like when it ricochets. But you're in a video game, so let's make it sound like that because it's super fucking cool.
I think sound is just art in general. Like even if you're looking at movies, right? Like
Meh.
you literally have Foley artists that are out there singing things up with the film, and it's one of those things. You know, this isn't an original thought, and we've said it before on the podcast, but if sound design is good, you don't notice it. You can have the best sound designer in the world, but them doing their job really well is you not noticing how good of a job they did. But if it's bad, you instantly know.
Yeah, that goes for a lot of things too. But yeah, that's definitely one of them where it's like, as long as you don't notice it, they're doing their job perfect.
Quick saves. As revealed by their Facebook page, the PS3, 360, and PC servers for Burnout Paradise will shut down on August 1st, 2019.
Boo.
The shutdown will not affect the remaster of Burnout Paradise.
Boo. I don't care.
That
was a great game, by the way.
The last scene of The Last of Us Part 2 has been shot. Neil Druckmann took to Twitter and said, quote, just shot this scene, ... so ... end quote, accompanied by the final page of the script with the words, cut to black, the end.
Maybe he didn't shoot a scene. Maybe he was like, just shot a scene, and it's not a scene.
Like you don't see the other script where he took a gun and shot
yes,
that page. Following the fires that caused heavy damage to Notre Dame de Paris, Ubisoft has donated a large portion of money and is to the rebuilding process and is offering Assassin's Creed Unity for free through Uplay.
So white and so American. Way to go.
Notre Dame
de Paris.
Okay, say it better.
Notre Dame de Paris.
I don't care.
I just picture I picture what was that movie? Ungrateful Bastards, Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. Yeah.
Whenever they're doing the Italian, it's all Gorlami.
Oh yeah, Gorlami. Yeah.
No, that's
So I just buongiorno.
Yeah. I got this. By
Notre
the way.
Dame de
I
Paris.
saw this pop up. I was like, I'll take. I thought Unity was awesome. I don't know. It's one of those Mass Effect Andromeda things where it's like there was a few crazy weird glitches in the game, and people were like, "Worst game ever." It's like actually Unity's one of the best Assassin's Creeds.
yeah. No, I
hands
mean,
down.
I think it's in terms of just like setting and what the game
It's gorgeous,
is
beautiful. Yep.
after it's been fixed.
Yep.
It's great.
Gorgeous.
However, like I will always hate this game because of the stupid problems I had that you didn't have. Like,
Yep.
I was just trying
Didn't
to convince
have
Chris that
one
my
of
problems were real. Meanwhile, he has
Had
the
a
smoothest play through the
flawless
world.
experience in Unity.
One of the things I didn't know is that the end of Rogue directly ties into Unity, and I think it's a really cool tie-in.
Yep. Which is why did they remaster Rogue yet?
They did.
Yeah, which is why I'd been pushing them to remaster Rogue for the longest time, so people would actually play it because that was a great game. That was like the bridge between Black Flag and Unity, but it still had enough of the Black Flag pirate ship that was just so good.
Yeah.
it was so great.
During Inside Xbox, Microsoft announced the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which will combine Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will be available later this year and will cost $14.99 a month. Not a bad deal.
Damn
That's a
good
very
fucking no. That's a fucking great price, man.
That's very tempting.
Fucking great price.
I didn't see.
Aren't you? Are you? You're not paying for both, are you?
No, I'm not, because I was doing Game Pass whenever we were streaming and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like for that, I mean, it's kind of worth
That's
it.
a fucking great price, man.
Did
How much is
they-
that a year? It's 15 times 12.
160.
160? Oh no,
Like 210.
210. Yeah, that's dude.
No, it's 180.
That was a 180.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's
12
180.
times 15.
It's 210.
It is 180.
That's
Never mind.
180. Okay.
He was so adamant, and I was like, "I have a calculator. I don't know what you want from me."
Well, hey, I got really fucking close without a calculator and then checked my work. So you know what? Fuck you.
I got close.
America.
You had to use a calculator.
Yeah,
It's not like you were sitting there doing mental math and
Yeah, but
accidentally like put something in the wrong spot, you motherfucker.
Sure, but to be fair,
Fucking sitting over there all arrogant.
to be fair, I'd rather.
It's funny you were
to
getting
be
mad
fair,
at me for you were being close to a math problem.
to
Either
be
you're
fair,
right or you're wrong.
To be fair, it's impressive.
Fucking hate you.
To be impressive, it's impressive to get math done that quick in your head. However, I'd rather have somebody use a calculator and do it right.
Yeah, but like let's be real.
Personally.
90% of the time I'm spot on. I just was trying to get it done fast.
That's fair. I was gonna say something, but I forget. That doesn't matter. Did they say if they offered this on more than just a monthly basis?
So
The $15.99. Like, could I pay for a year?
that's what they said. That's what the news article
Just
said.
$15.99,
Yeah.
okay.
So I didn't watch it.
What do you
so I
want,
don't know.
Justin?
I want to
God.
for it all at
I
once.
mean, it was like get math perfect and also know everything. No, they didn't say. I bet there'll be a yearly price, but
probably $210.
No, they'll cut your break. It'll be $199.99.
Marvel has announced that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, will release on July 19th, 2019, exclusively on Switch. And last but certainly not least, Joker from Persona 5 is now available as a fighter in Super Smash Bros. And it shut down the store for a little bit today.
That's because Nintendo's fucking infrastructure sucks. That they can't even support people downloading a damn character in a game.
Just one character.
Come on.
I mean, like, yes, their store sucks, and I'm not denying that. However, fucking Sony and Microsoft fuck shit up all the time, and you're never as harsh on them as you are on Nintendo. Like, this easily could have happened to either of them because it happens to them every other month.
Yeah, but Nintendo has a player base of, 15 million? Xbox and Sony have a player base of 90 million?
Sure, but it's not like all 90 million people are hitting the PlayStation Store at the same time trying to download something.
They probably do when Call of Duty comes out, let's be honest.
I doubt it. I bet 90 million of those people are fucking just downloading off the disc, like plebs. Justin.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
Well, so I haven't got to finish it totally yet, but I'm in the epilogue or prologue.
You're never going to finish the game.
I will.
No, you're not.
It takes like a little bit to finish the epilogue.
game.
No, it doesn't. It takes like 8 hours.
It does not take long at all. If you just mainline through there,
It took me 8 hours. It took me a while to finish the epilogue.
it took me like 4 or 5.
Look, I needed to take a break after the emotional story that was Red Dead Redemption.
Was it emotional for you? Because you spaced out a lot of those story beats like by 6 months each. So.
Yeah, I don't know. So you'd be surprised. That's what I was worried about because I was like, look, I want to finish this. Let's
Chris
jump
wrong.
into it. And I pretty much.
Yeah.
But also because I wanted to experience the story. And then jumping into it immediately, like it does such a good job at making you care about these characters and the story that's, going on. Like immediately I was already back in there. Like it didn't feel like I took a break at all. Yeah, it was very, very good. I told Chris this last week, I think after D&D, that just with how well that last chapter was written and how good that story was, like I would almost want to go back to our Twin Stickies and change that to my game of the year.
Really?
Like over SpiderMan. It was really good. Like,
that's kind of...
It's been a long time since I've cried that good of a cry.
You played Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah?
You didn't cry that hard in Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, not as bad as Red Dead, man. The horse.
I figured you would ball. I figured you would have bawled like a baby in Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, I got teary for sure.
Especially when Roxas, Axel, and Xeon kind of like
Spoilers.
whatever.
He just said their names. He didn't say what they did, but now spoilers.
I'm just saying, in case, because he was probably going to keep going. I'm just putting it out there if someone's still beating the game.
Touche.
When Roxas, Axel, and Xeon have their little
their moment.
Yeah.
They're coming together again. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, all that stuff got me teary, but like Red Dead, the way, and especially like the ending that I got, it was perfect, because I got the heroic ending. You follow John to the hilltop.
Honorable ending.
Yes, the honorable ending. You follow John to the hilltop, and then you don't get shot. You just kind of die peacefully looking at the sunset. Oh, super. Oh, it was awesome.
Yep.
It was really cool.
I'm telling you, man. Game does it. I think it gets a lot of credit, but I think it's overshadowed by God of War. I've never played God of War, so I don't have anything to base it off of. But I was telling you, like, I think God of War does a great job in character development, especially with Kratos. You and I were talking about this, or me and actually I was talking with Ev. I think God of War does an amazing job with character development, especially with a character that everybody was already accepting of being just this dude with axes or whatever the hell he used, who fucked chicks and just fuck shit up. That's what Kratos did, and he yelled a lot. And morphed him into this fatherly figure, and had this character develop as a family man over, Las Vegas fucking Jersey boy. You have him become this thing, and he has a son, and this bonding experience happens between this entire game. I think he does a great job. I'm not taking anything away from God of War. I think he does amazing. But there's something to be said about character development when you're only developing a character, maybe two with God of War, and Red Dead Redemption, where you're literally developing an entire group of 14 people.
Right.
And you end up caring about all 14, like everybody. You care. And you see the development, especially with Dutch. I've told you before, I don't think Arthur's the main character of the story. Dutch is. Even though you're playing Arthur Morgan, he is 100% not the main character of the story. And it's amazing that you can tell a story especially in a video game that's all interactive, where you are the player and you're not even the main character. It's what's so great about fucking Oblivion. And what was it, Fallout, where you're not really the main character? New Vegas. It's really great. That's really fucking cool. And then to top that off, you have this gang of people, and you see each one of them grow, and you understand each side of each argument that you get in. And at the end, you understand everything. You understand why Mike is an asshole. You understand why Dutch is doing the things he's doing. He's not going crazy. He's just, he's looking out for number one, which is Dutch. You get it. You know what I mean? And it's something that it's amazing to me that Rockstar could tell that story and develop an entire group of people while still making you invested, involved, and caring. And so I feel like that's overshadowed by the dad-son thing in God of War.
Right. And there were so many different but all like amazing story beats with Arthur. Like just all the different, even side missions. We talked about the whole like the nun.
When he finally accepts it.
Yeah, like you're doing little things with the nun, and she's kind of speaking into your life, but it's there, but it's not. And then whenever you see her off on the train, man, that was such an amazing moment. That was just a simple side story that you could easily miss. Like him finally admitting that he was afraid.
Yep,
I was crazy. And then because I knew roughly where the story was going, like
to be fair, I told you like week 1 where the story was going.
That's true, you did, which is amazing. But like because I knew that, like it made me, I didn't want it to end. Like I wanted to just keep going. And no, I got to go see what I forget her name, Savannah, Chelsea.
Charlotte. Very north of the map.
I like anytime she would pop up, I was like, I have to go and see her because like once, like I want to know what's going to happen to her because once I die, like that's it, I'm gone. I'm the only one that knows she's up there. And then like I said, like the horse passing away, like that was the horse that I had from the beginning of the game. I never wanted to get a new horse, even though he was slow as shit. Like having him die, and then the final moments are just like, you did a good job. Thank you, buddy. And I was like, like it's awesome.
Yep.
So good.
Great game, man. Yeah. Great fucking game.
And all of that too is done because Dutch is also such a great character. You can't have a good story, or I feel like you can't have a good story without having that good villain too,
Sure.
So, yeah. I'm glad I almost have finished it.
I still don't think you finish it.
I think I will. I think I've come to the realize of what games I like to play. I think the reason why I can't get into Destiny and why I had a hard time getting into Anthem, even though it was fun, I don't know if like the games of service and like looter shooter thing is just for me. I just don't know. If
I think you just need to find a game that works for you. Destiny's leveling system sucks, and Anthem is broken.
Yeah,
no, I mean, but
there's a ton of reasons why I can label like maybe it, like I'm not trying to speak for you,
right.
But I'm pointing out reasons like this is why you should not play Destiny. The leveling system fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This is why you should not play Anthem. It's just buggy as crap, and there's literally no point in playing it.
Yeah. But it's like I really, really liked the story of like playing through that, and then SpiderMan and Kingdom Hearts 3.
You like single player story stuff.
Yeah, like those have just been really fun. Like it's been a long time.
You're me when I was 14.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've invested time to like actually finish games.
Sure.
Like over the past 6 months, like I finished more games than I normally do. I normally don't finish games all the way through. So, yeah.
Good for you, Justin.
Thanks.
I still don't think you're going to finish it all the way.
I know.
Yep. Prove me wrong.
You're playing Fallout 76, Chris?
Hell yeah.
Why?
Because it's awesome.
Have you been playing it by yourself or with
No,
Whitney?
I play with Whitney. That makes it a shit ton more fun. It's just great. It's great. I think we've always said it. But there's a game with friends is always going to be fun, even though it's buggy as shit. And it's actually not as buggy as when it was at launch. They fixed a ton of shit.
Didn't they have a big update?
Yeah,
maybe
there's
a month ago?
Dude, when I downloaded the game, which was 20 gigs, and then the update was 65 gigs. So they fixed a lot of shit. And I think it's great. I think it's a ton of fun. I don't think I do play it by myself, and I think it's one of those things that's you have to let the idea of progression carry you forward, which is the exact opposite of a Fallout game. You know what I mean? Like a Fallout game, the things you find and the story should be progressing you forward. But in this game, you can't let that be your progression. Your character development, your level has to be that progression. And I'm fine with that. Like, that's why I play Division and Anthem and Destiny and all these MMOs. It's, you know, the stories are great, but they're not the reason you play that game. You play Division to see that little number go up every time you get something to drop, or you see, you know, you're making bills or whatever it is.
Right. It's like a hobby.
Yeah, basically. And but Fallout 76 is a shit ton of fun, especially with Whitney. It's a ton of fun. We did this mission together, and like we're being swarmed by feral ghouls, and it's like fucking crazy, and we're both like automatic, and she's got the things, and we're throwing grenades, and feral ghouls are flying everywhere, and it's really fucking cool. So yeah, it's fun, you know. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, it was broken and buggy when it first came out, and whatever, you know what, we paid $60 for it, let's just enjoy it. That's what video games are for, right? It's what I said about Anthem. It's like, sure, it's buggy and shit, but man, the 40, 50 hours I put in Anthem, I had a shit ton of fun. And I'll gladly go back if it's worth playing. Same thing with Destiny. Just Destiny's got to fix their leveling system. I told Daniel the other day, I was like, I'm never playing Destiny again until they fix their leveling system, period. I am never going to turn that game on until there is a tried and true way to see that number go up. Because right now it's all fucking RNG, and that is the dumbest fucking way to level in a game.
Yeah.
RNG-based leveling in a game is just fucking ridiculous.
I feel like that's not going to change with Destiny.
I don't think it is either. I don't think Destiny 2 is too intertwined. That's too ingrained in their system, so it's not going to change. So I'm just never playing Destiny 2 again, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Destiny 3 comes out probably in 2020, so maybe they'll be better then. I don't fucking know. So. But I also played Outward. That's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about what we played a game called Outward. I would say that is a game that it's only $40, so that's not bad at all. It's a Dark Souls Skyrim game.
I can't think of anything I want less than that.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, like that, to me, that is a crisp game. It's got survival elements all the way to the point of the backpack you are carrying will slow your dodge roll. So if you get into a fight, you need to drop your backpack, but you better watch it while you're doing that, because one of the enemies could break away and go steal your backpack. That's how survival this game is. And I really like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's nowhere near as reactive as Dark Souls is, so the combat's kind of wonky. I really like the magic system. The magic system has this thing where you have to prepare these spells, and you can't just fling spells. You have to have the components to use to do the spells, but you also have to be standing in the right corresponding magic circle. So if you're going to cast Fireball, you've got to ritually cast this Fireball circle and stand in that circle and make sure you have enough components to cast Fireball.
It's just like D&D.
Yeah, kind of. It's like if you were to play like hardcore D&D survival, like in a video game. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a Chris game. I don't think it's any of you game at all. Like, I just think you would hate it beyond all belief.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I have an appreciation for Dark Souls, and I have an appreciation for Skyrim.
Yeah,
but I like those two games for completely opposite reasons.
It's an appreciation from far away.
And then
I mean, like, I've played a shit ton of Skyrim, and I've played a lot of Dark Souls for me, but like, I can't imagine that whole thing of like, Skyrim is about going in, exploring as far as you can, picking up adventures, and sort of going off and dungeon delving and doing all that stuff. And your equipment doesn't get in the way of your enjoyment of that game. And also, like, the fights are kind of easy, so it means that you can progress without having to be really good at it.
Unless you turn that slider up, then it's hard.
But even then, like, it's not Dark Souls.
No,
it's never Dark Souls.
And then playing Division, always played Division. And I'm this close to buying World War Z, this fucking close, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Why?
Because there's nobody to play with.
But why World War Z?
Because it looks awesome. It's like Left 4 Dead, but third-person shooter, a character progression system, and gun progression system. It's like Division and Left 4 Dead had a baby.
Sounds like something that you would want.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks like a shit ton of fun, and it's like the movie World War Z and the book, where the zombies like pile on top of each other to climb things. So, like, if there's a thing, it's like you're trying to hold a choke point. You're basically firing automatic weapons into this just, you know, it looks like there's thousands of zombies on. Yeah, and there's like thousands of zombies on screen at any time. and they're all easy to kill, right? They're one shot headshots, and so it never feels unmanageable. But when it does get crazy, it gets crazy. It looks really fucking cool. It looks like a lot of fucking fun. It's 4-player co-op, and that's why I haven't bought it, because I know I'm not going to talk you guys into buying anything. So I might just buy me and Whitney a copy, and just me, because I was like, hey, did you like Left 4 Dead? She's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, maybe you just want to shoot zombies with me one day. So I don't know. You can match make, but it looks like a ton of fun. It looks like a lot of fucking fun. So.
Yeah. Trey, what game are you going to play next?
Not Division.
No, probably not.
Bastards.
I mean, I will. I still plan to at some point, but I just at this point, the place where I'm at with video games is just trying to find things that I know I'll love and focus on that for a while. And try to avoid the things about games that I continue to hate and ruin my enjoyment of them, which is
terrible.
Games as service.
That's like eating your favorite restaurant all the time because you don't want to try something new.
Or it's like almost quitting video games over a shitty game service like or games model that continues to plague the industry, and trying to find a way to keep enjoying games in spite of that. Like,
that you just labeled your thing. I was comparing it to something.
No, I'm just saying that like it's
like eating like Chick-fil-A every day.
I'm just saying rather than give up eating because 90% of the restaurants suck,
Here we go.
I'm going to focus on the shit that I like instead.
There's a comparison.
So played a little bit of Borderlands, the pre-sequel. It's flawed. It's not a perfect game, but I will say that like in terms of the Claptastic DLC, if you're to take like the various sections of Borderlands 1 to the pre-sequel, and sort of separate them in their own vertical slices, like if you're to treat each section sort of as a DLC, the Claptastic Voyage is the best like vertical slice of Borderlands that exists. It is so good. I love the map design. I love the enemy design. I really love the way that it sort of gives you a little bit more freedom in how you use your weapons. Because I think that one of the biggest problems with Borderlands is when you get to late game, you sort of feel restricted. Like, you know,
Sure.
Athena is someone who at the last third of Borderlands at level 25, if you're building her a certain way, like she sort of she goes down a lot, and it gets a little bit harder because you want to be you want to build up as many stacks of whatever her maelstrom, I think is what it's called. You want to build up as many stacks as possible, and the way to do that is to land as many shots as possible. So you're using a lot of shotguns and SMGs and auto rifles, which means that you're right on top of something, and she's kind of squishy. But Claptastic doesn't feel that way. Like the encounters feel so much more manageable. But again, like just the environment itself is also so different than anything you've seen in Borderlands that it's just kind of crazy out there. And I think the writing is good. It's not as good as other parts of the game. But
I was going to say, I would give what you just said, like the best vertical slice to Tiny Tina's DLC in part 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Part of my problem with Tiny Tina DLC is that this is so stupid, but because it's not. First of all, I think it's a fine concept and it's great and it's probably like near the top. But I think part of what Claptastic sort of sets a little bit in front of it is that everything that's happening there is such a stupid reason is considered canon, or as opposed to someone telling a story that's not actually happening.
No, I mean Tina's DLC's canon. It's just them playing a board game. It's them playing D&D.
But it's like these events actually happen rather than what's actually happening in Tiny Tina is people sitting around a table and talking, which is fine. We do that every week. But like Claptastic is like, oh, this is something that actually exists in the universe.
It's advancing a story versus like, that's like a self-contained thing.
I would also argue that because Tiny Tina's DLC advances Tina's acceptance that Roland is dead. Somebody she saw as a father, that's her advancing that story of accepting that Roland's dead.
I'm just saying that in terms of what, like the environment and enemies and everything, like it just feels different. I'm not talking about overall story. I think you're right. Like the outer world story that's happening is probably better than Claptastic, but it's just cool to be like, oh, this is something like we could go back into Claptrap's head later and it would be a thing. It's a place that exists.
Plus, when Mordecai rolls natural ones, bad things happen. And in Tiny Tina's DLC, it's so good.
I think the next thing I'm gonna go back to, because I had started playing it a little bit before the pre-sequel, and I'm not ready just yet to jump into Borderlands 2. But I want to play I want to play Tales from the Borderlands 2, and I really want to play Borderlands 1 just to like. Before Borderlands 3.
Are you just trying to play through all of them?
Yeah, but I do really want to finish God of War because that's a game that I keep getting to the same point at, and then it's like, I don't want this to be over. So I think God of War is the next thing.
How much longer do you have on it, do you think?
I'm still pretty early on because where I restarted at, but I'm not much further than where I was when I stopped playing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not too far behind where I stopped playing.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's the next thing on my list. Although, like, Days Gone comes out soon too, and I'm very excited for that game. So I might pick up and play Days Gone before I finish God of War, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, guaranteed to love. So
Guaranteed to love.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Guaranteed to love it. GameStop.
Oh yeah. I don't.
Sponsor.
Nope.
Not a sponsor.
With all the press that's kind of surrounding Days Gone, I'm not afraid of not liking that game. Like the same people that constantly harp on Sony for being the best ever, which is something I believe, are the same people that are praising Days Gone. So if those people love it, I will most likely love it too.
Right.
It's so crazy. Like the duality of people harping on games is weird.
How do you mean?
Well, Days Gone is literally a Ubisoft clone. And it's like that. Any games that's a Ubisoft clone just gets harped on hard, and people hate it. But like they don't hate Days Gone. It's just weird. I mean, that's
because
good.
Sony.
Yeah, I mean that's good. It's good that there's a Ubisoft clone out there that's doing the climb the tower, do this thing, go to this question mark, do all these things, and that's basically what Days Gone is, which is fine. Like that is my type of game. You know
That's
what I mean?
what Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
was.
like I fucking 100% Assassin's Creed in every Ubisoft game that comes out. So it's my type of game. It's just it's weird that like people are praising Days Gone when that's all it is. When you break it down to nuts and bolts, that's literally what it is. It's a zombie game, which people harp on too, and it's a Ubisoft clone. It's like, the last 5 years have told me you should hate this game, but you're loving it, which is good. That's actually really good. That means it's a very well-designed game, and I'm glad for that. It's just weird. That's all.
I don't know. I think the fact that it's a Sony game really sort of gives it that advantage because, I mean, again, talking about Sony being the best ever, there's a consistent quality that I harp on every week when we talk about Sony. And so, Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that, like, if you strip down its map, it is a Ubisoft clone. You climb up these towers. These towers tell you points of interest, and you go to those points of interest, and there are things to do. But, like, when I think about the actual gameplay of it, it doesn't feel like a Ubisoft game. It feels like a Sony game. And I think that's one of the things that Sony does well is that, I said this about Horizon Zero Dawn at the time. Horizon Zero Dawn is not, if you're looking in terms of innovation, if you're looking in terms of a game that is changing the gaming landscape, it's not that. But what it is it's a perfect amalgamation of all of the awesome things about a good video game. I think that there are a lot of developers that are like that are afraid to do that, or that feel like they have to reinvent the wheel when they're making their own version. I mean, look at Anthem, right? Like the developers were specifically told not to compare it to Destiny.
Right.
It's like, well, Destiny is what's going on now, and if you
Destiny, it's what's fucking up. Learn from it.
And
Right.
it doesn't.
Yeah. We talked about that like 2 weeks ago. Whenever we, or maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like you don't have to make the same mistakes that other people do. You can learn from them before you do them.
But if you refuse to look at it and realistically look at your game and compare it to what it's going to be, then not only are you bound to make the same mistakes, but you're also bound to make something that's worse.
Sure.
Right. It's like if you're developing your game in a silo basically, to where you just block yourself off from everything around you, like you're hurting yourself in the end.
Sure.
So.
But yeah, like I'm looking forward to Days Gone quite a bit. Plus, like I've loved Sam Witwer since Force Unleashed. I think that was like his big fucking break, and I've loved Sam Witwer since then. So much so I even watched that stupid TV show he was in, The Vampire, the Werewolf, and the Ghost. Terrible.
Was that the title of the TV show?
No, it's Oh, you're right. No, you're right. He did. You're right. He did do the voice in Too Human. I'm sorry about that. He was in Smallville.
He's one of the bad guys.
No.
Yeah.
Who was he in Smallville? I'm gonna have to go back and watch that, dude. I own all 10 seasons of Smallville. And I don't remember freaking Sam Witwer in Smallville. Holy shit.
Yeah. And the other thing I've been playing as we finish up the podcast is preparation for Under Mountain because we're doing Dungeons of the Mad Mage tonight.
BT Dub. Did you see that? Hey, this is to you. Did you see that? Who plays Superman? Who plays Clark in Smallville? What's his name?
I don't know.
Tom Welling. Tom Welling is going to play a surprise character in the last season of Arrow.
Superman?
Well, so that's because in the Arrowverse, they went to the Smallville universe. So it'd be awesome if they got Tom Welling to play Superman in Arrow. Good Lord, that'd be awesome.
Don't they already have a Superman?
Yes, but
And
that's
Supergirl,
yeah,
right?
but they went to the Smallville universe. They did like a Flashpoint paradox thing in Arrow and Flash.
Okay.
So they had
Smallville exists in its own
own little universe thing. Yeah. So they went back. It's really this is so nerdy, but they went back. Then in the show they went back to They went to Smallville universe because somebody got trapped there for some reason, and the scene started and the Smallville theme's playing. Somebody save! It's super fucking cool. Anyway, I'm a nerd and I like that show. Smallville's awesome. Best Lex Luthor ever.
Smallville, Star Wars. What a nerdy podcast.
Right? Michael Rosenberg.
All right. We got to end the show now, but if you guys want all the links to follow us, you can find our social media links, our Twitter links, everything down in the description below, as well as links to Connor stuff. So
Downstream Studios, yeah.
So I can sit here and I can say everything out loud and tell you, or you can just check down there and click links and be transported through the power of the internet instantly to our pages instead of having to scribble it down and you forget an S somewhere or a G in a thing and then you're screwed.
They don't write down HTTPS : and
yeah, no.
Wait, you don't have to write that?
No.
He was Doomsday. Did you ever just brought it up and Sam Witwer was Doomsday in Smallville? Now I remember it too. It was good shit.
See you next week, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.